In this video, I'm going to go over the basics of how to create a certificate in Palo Alto to authenticate to a Minemeld instance. This will be the first of a series of videos on both Minemeld and Palo Alto and how they integrate with each other. I will post the commands and steps I use in this video in the description below, and any feedback is welcome. In order to get this to work, you will either need to have a trusted root CA certificate already created in Palo or an externally signed cert from a valid CA. We're going to use this for signing the cert we're about to create. In the video, I'm going to use a trusted root CA I have already created in Palo. As you can see, as it currently stands, Minemeld does not have a valid cert and is untrusted by our browser. This will be fixed by the end of the video. To start things out, what we're going to do is we're going to create a certificate in Palo. So when we navigate to our Palo, we're going to go to Device, we're going to click on Certificates, and then down at the bottom of the page is an option to generate. So we're going to go ahead and generate a new cert. I'm going to name this Minemeld to keep things simple. I'll use the IP address of the Minemeld just to keep things simple for the cert. We're going to choose the signed by the decrypt cert that I have already created in Palo. Down under certificate attributes, I like to keep things simple and just add a few things here. So I'm just going to add country, I'm going to add the state, and I'm also going to add the IP address. Once we have those three things inputted here, we're going to go ahead and click Generate. Alright, so successfully generated the certificate and key pair from Minemeld. I'm going to go ahead and commit the changes just to make sure everything is saved. You can go ahead and close this out as it's going to run in the background. If you want, you can check under the tasks bar down here. Now what we need to do is we need to export this cert so that we can add it to our Minemeld instance. So what we're going to do is we're going to choose the checkmark box next to Minemeld, and down at the bottom we see where it says export. Go ahead and click on that. For the file format, we're going to use it as the base64 PEM, and we're going to export the private key. Use a passphrase that you are going to remember because we're going to use this later after we export this to our Minemeld instance. And then go ahead and click OK. Alright, so we got the certificate file downloaded right here. And you can see it in our downloads folder. You can do this multiple ways. You can edit this in a notepad file, or you can do it on your Minemeld instance, but what we need to do is break this up into a few files. We're going to need our .cer file and a .pem file. What I'm going to do is I'm going to use WinSCP to transfer it over, which I already have open. So as you can see, here's that PEM file. I'm going to just copy it over to our Minemeld instance here, which is running on Ubuntu. Once that's done, use your whatever SSH client you want. I'm going to use PuTTY as I had already have it opened up, and I find it really easy to use. So I have a list of commands that are going to make this a little easier, which I'll post below so you can copy them instead of trying to find them throughout the video. So the first thing that we're going to need to do is we're going to copy the original Minemeld certs so that we can use them as a backup just in case things go wrong. So I'm going to go ahead and copy and paste that over. And we'll do the same for the PEM file. All right, so once that's done, we're actually going to do the split. We're going to split this file into two separate files. You can do that, like I said, you can do this in Notepad, or you can use this following command. I found this just to be a little bit quicker. Except I'm having problems copying it over. There we go. All right. So now that we have that split into two files, we need to copy that cert file that was just created into our Nginx folder. We can do this very simply by just using a simple copy command. All right. Now that since we used a private key during our export, we're going to need to extract that key using the following command. And this is where that that passphrase that we used during our Minemeld cert creation comes into play. So when we hit enter here, it's going to ask us for that passphrase for our Minemeld private key. So we'll go ahead and insert that. All right, writing a RSA key. So now all that's left for us to do is to simply restart Nginx. All right, restarting. Okay, so now when we refresh our browser for this Minemeld instance, we should show that it has a valid certificate, which it does. You can see it's now a secure connection here, and we can log in as needed. And that's all I had for today. In later videos, I'll go over on what Minemeld is, how it's used, how to use its threat intel feeds with Palo Alto by using external dynamic lists. Also, I'll go into detail about how we can use the cert that we just created for Minemeld to use for authentication with users from Minemeld to Palo Alto. Thanks for watching.